Hello and welcome to week 2, game 2 of Entities Arena. I'm your host, Teradori, and our co-host today, Travesty on Demand. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a little bit of a cough, but, not too bad, not too bad. It does look like we are in for a wonderful game tonight between Sigma Grinders and Hookers.
Yes, this is going to be a very exciting match between the two. Sigma Grinders is already starting off with a win as they had a bye in their first week, and Hookers is coming off with a 0-1 record so far. So let's hope that the Hookers can go ahead and pull it around and get their first win of the season.
Absolutely. Do you want me to tell them? I tell everybody what maps we're playing on tonight, or do you want to?
Go on ahead.
All right. So tonight we've got Wrecker's Yard and Blood Lodge. Some interesting maps.
Record is two. They're two drastically different maps. You know, you go from one that's very small. It's got one building, and that would be your shack, and it's in the very middle. And then you put Blood Lodge,
Polar
which is
opposite.
extreme polar opposite. It's just massively huge, tons of three gen potential, and God, like this is this is. I'm honestly don't know what to make of this matchup, just because of how drastic the maps are that we have for this week.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Wrecker's Yard, probably my favorite map. That's not a very popular opinion, but it's an opinion.
You are right. It is an opinion, but I think it's also just like personal taste too, right? Which is probably why you really love Rikers Yard.
Yeah, I feel like it's a really good map for 1v1s, which I know, not what we're here for today, but nonetheless, I feel like it's a map that can really teach you, you know, how do I run a killer? How do I run a certain killer for minutes at a time? How do I ensure that I know what I'm doing versus, maybe killers that aren't more popular? You know, Hillbilly is a killer that you often see on this map in 1v1s. So it's not entirely out of the picture that we would see a Hillbilly picked in a 4v1 scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Huntress, as well, very popular on this map, both for 1v1 and 4v1, because
Mm-hmm.
she can throw through a lot of the tiles, and she can control the center of the map very easily.
Especially when you consider the perks that they're probably going to bring, which agitation is a very popular perk to equip with Huntress, especially on Wreckers. You know, you get that, you can essentially choose where you want this person to be to try and control your 3 gen, to try and control that center. It's just incredibly strong for the Huntress.
Absolutely. And I really feel like any killer, if you get it down in the basement near the start of the game, you've confirmed that you're going to get probably 2 or 3 kills. Even if it's a 110 killer, you have the potential of really setting yourself up for a good mid to late game.
Hmm. No, I'll say that if you get a hook in the basement and you have corrupt intervention and that's still active by the time you do it, on the killer side, I think you're in a very strong position at that point.
Yeah, I think seeing a 110 killer is not out of the question here, especially because it is, it is a smaller map. We might see agitation. With Pop Goes the Weasel, which is a really popular, a really popular perk, both on this map, as you've already stated, Agitation because of getting that basement hook, and Pop Goes the Weasel because you tend to have really bad totem spawns on this map. I couldn't imagine trying to defend multiple totems while you're also defending your hook and a 3-gen. Despite the map being so small, it is incredibly open.
It is. It tends to be a very open map, which can be difficult at times. But hopefully, these teams have gotten together this week. They've had the opportunity to practice these maps and to go, all right, well, we know what we're doing now. This is what we have observed when we've done our practices, and hopefully our killer is going to have a pretty good outing.
Yeah, I think most likely we'll see very good games from the killer side on Wrecker's Yard, but Blood Lodge being one of those more how do you say unpopular maps.
I think that's a fair way to describe it. It's not the most popular.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit of a large map, and it doesn't often get played in tournaments because it's so large, it's so open, and there's not really very much density except for the fillers in towards the middle and then along the outside. It has some stuff that you can go off of, but sometimes just bad RNG can mess you up. But thankfully, both of our teams are playing on the map, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue for either of them if they've practiced.
I think since this map is a Hooker's home map, I think that they're going to have less of an issue, mainly because they're going to be playing this on this map every week, right? So this is the place where they're going to have the most comfort. And that could give them the advantage versus some of the other teams that are only practicing the week of in preparation for the matchup.
Yeah, I know that we've seen some of the killer picks from Hookers from week 1. We've seen how they played on this map. Their survivors played pretty well. They put up a really good performance. Unfortunately, the Plague did get, I think, 3 kills during that game. But they also used a Blight in their killer game.
They did. So their Blight can no longer be used for the rest of the season.
That's correct. And I think that their first game, they actually brought Nemesis on the Sanctum of Wrath.
Yeah, I think that was the game where they brought out Nemesis. Yes. Nemesis was one of the killers that they used.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting way. It's gonna weigh their decisions pretty differently, I think, going into the later weeks with some of the maps that they have lined up, which I don't know if you have them pulled up right now, but if I remember correctly, there's Coal Tower, Wretched Shop. I don't remember some of the others off the top of my head.
There's Shuffle Pit, Family Residence. There's Bottom Preschool 3. Wretched Shop, Coal Tower.
Wretched Shop, Coal Tower. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, because they went up against Sanctum. They went up against Sanctum of Wrath. Their home map is Blood Lodge, and this week they're going up on Wrecker's Yard. So they got Coal Tower, Wretched Shop, Bottom Preschool 3, Family Residence, and Shuffle Pit.
Wow. Those are definitely a list of maps. I don't know if you know what killers Sigma grinders choose to use in their bye week.
I do have that at the ready.
Oh, I'm ready
So
for this.
so Sigma Grinders had a buy for week one. So the two killers that they chose to burn for week one was Ghostface and Trapper.
Ghostface and Trapper.
Yes.
Interesting choice. I'm actually kind of surprised about the Ghostface. I'm not too certain Ghostface is good on any of the maps that were chosen, but nonetheless, it could have been, what if there is a bug at some point that makes one of the maps unusable? Maybe I would want to keep Ghostface just in case.
I mean, it's a tough call, right? Because if they're going to go ahead and use two killers on their bye week, they're going to use some of the ones that aren't as popular. And Trapper, as much as people rally for a strong Evan, some of the teams feel that he's one of the weaker killers, and some of them think that Ghostface is the same sort of deal. So I can understand them wanting to ensure
Yes.
that they use one of the killers that just aren't as strong.
Personally, I'm under the impression that Ghostface probably isn't as bad as maybe Clown. I probably would have picked Clown and Legion, or Clown and Trapper.
Hmm.
Um, because while they're not bad killers, they might not be as well suited for this tournament as opposed to, say, maybe one that's more based around blood points.
Yeah, I don't think it would be that good for this league just because of that. Um, I think that it can have its use in other leagues and tournaments, but I think just for how we have Entities Arena set up, I don't think it's going to be the strongest for its showing.
Yeah. Now, I have good news. Our ping test has come back for every single killer and every single survivor, and it's been really good. So we're gonna get into our first game here in just a few moments. Um, I'm excited now. Now knowing we have GPU playing killer first, and we have hookers playing survivor, you know, anything can happen.
Hmm. And anything can happen. So, Arrow, the question I have for you is, what killer would you want to bring out? You're the first. You're the first game of the. The first game of this match. You're playing killer on your home map, and with this being Wrecker's Yard, what killer do you think you bring out?
Um, Personally, if I was GPU right now, I would probably be bringing out Huntress, just because I have quite a lot of hours on Huntress. I feel like this is a really good map for Huntress. Um, I think it's probably a safe bet to say Huntress is a good pick on this map, even if it's not the best. It's a fairly decent one.
Hmm.
It lets you test the waters with the other team, see if
Hmm.
they are, you know, good at communicating things like the hatchet count, or with paying attention to where your 3-gen is, because that's a really big deal when you're playing versus Huntress. So
Hmm.
I feel like it's a good testing the waters kind of pick. Alternatively, I do think Wraith is not half bad of an option here as well. The way that he can tear through the pallets with his Shadow Dance and Serpent add-ons is really disgusting versus, some of these pallets, some of these loops, some of these, jungle gyms can be
Hmm.
rough, especially if you're bringing Bamboozle. You know, just lock everything down, make sure you play it, you know? And I think Wraith or Huntress is probably the go-to pick here.
I can see where you're coming from. I'm going to take a guess, and maybe Executioner's the play here.
Interesting choice.
Executioner it's a very strong killer. It does have some capabilities of getting some range shots if you happen to be that good, which I'm not with that. But I think that there's a lot of potential for mind games on this particular map. There's tons of tiles where you can be able to fake out the rights of judgment, and I think there's just tons of potential for that on this particular map that you don't get on some of the other ones. And plus, it's a little bit, while it's open, it is still one of the smaller maps that are in the pool. And I think that Executioner can really shine with a smaller map.
While I think Executioner is not a bad pick, I don't know if I would use him on the very first map pick, or your very first game of the season. Knowing some of the other maps that are up in the future, it might be better to bring him for Wretched Shop or for maybe Suffocation Pit.
No, I agree. There are other uses for Executioner. And I think there are some really good maps out there for the Executioner. There's just, something that, like, maybe that's what we see.
Yeah. Knowing that Executioner can actually tunnel through, Decisive Strike, and even prevent, Deliverance or Second Wind is a really big thing. Even preventing Kinship, if it was allowed. Kinship is a banned perk, by the way. I want to make that clear. A killer with the ability to tunnel through these second chance perks is just absolutely, something that almost no other killer has the ability of doing.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what makes Executioner so unique, right? Is that it's got the ability to be able to just completely eliminate that. And so we are seeing on our end 5 offerings, 5 bloody blueprints. So no penalties off the bat. Well done. I didn't want to have to issue any penalties. I really don't want to do that.
Yeah, especially on the first game of the round. Would be unfortunate to go into this with a penalty, but here we are. We're loading in. Everything's going good. GPU is playing killer, and it could be almost anything. And it looks like Nightlight in the chat wants to see Kenneth the Clown chase.
Oh, that's great.
I think the Clown would be a good pick for this map from GPU to pull out and, show he's here to have some fun.
I could see that. I could see a Clown being here because, we're talking about testing the waters, right? And so let's see what happens.
This looks like Hillbilly, something that I know GPU is a little bit more in tuned with.
All right, so that's good to know. And we do already see gens taken by the entity, so we can already say with certainty that Corrupt Intervention is one of the perks allowed. And already going through a palette, and we can already reveal Low Pro Chains was one of the add-ons that they decided to bring.
I called it earlier. I said they're going to probably bring Hillbilly because we know Hillbilly does well in 1v1s on this map.
Mm-hmm.
There's an example.
Oh!
That's another down. That's just a down here. At the start of the game, 0 gens have been complete. That's not even a full minute passing yet. This is really good for GPU, getting it down on this side of the map.
And on top of that, the thing that you didn't see was Claudette had used a Dead Hard in order to extend the chase as long as they could. And
oh my goodness. That's a curve right next to the hook. We don't see a ruin.
No ruin, and we've already got 2 people on hooks.
Right next to
Corrupt intervention. Corrupt intervention isn't even done yet.
And here's a third person. We see a third person scratch marks over here.
God, the survivors have to keep their cool at this point because it's so easy with 2 people being on hooks for this to spiral out of control. Keep your composure and try and get one of your friends to safety.
Now,
even
GPU.
if it means the other one probably, even if the other one goes to second stage, this is not the best situation for them.
Especially because GPU is choosing here to camp out the hook to the struggle state, and especially this being an insta-down killer, this could be really good for the rest of the game on Sigma Grinder's side.
And we do see the second stage coming in, so we already have the Claudette on second stage, and we see the second person, the David, already going to second stage. So there's already 2 people on death hook. So,
and he's gonna continue to camp it out.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I think this is the right play from GPU, especially because having that RNG where both of those hooks are just so close together.
Now, it was revealed on stream that there was a deadlock in place. So they are aware that that is one of the perks that this killer decided to bring.
It looks like GPU is starting to take chase with another survivor as the first one dies on hook.
Yeah, I think the survivor team just went ahead and said, we're gonna lose these 2 people, but we have to.
Oh my goodness! Through the low pro, getting the down, because the way that low pro works is after 5 seconds, I believe, if you do not hit somebody, you will still get an insta down.
Well, that was unexpected. I didn't expect that at all. But that was a very good play to go through the pallet and to continue that momentum all the way for the unhook. And there is a chase happening over at Shack. We're gonna have to see if David can
survivor. If this is a decisive choosing,
they're not taking the bait. They're not taking the bait. They do decide to go for it now.
Is this decisive? It's not decisive.
No!
And David is dead in the basement.
Alright, well, 2 generators have been completed. There's 1 person still on hook. You have a total of 2 people dead. Your game plan is to either have that person die to get the escape hatch.
That second hook state confirmed.
Yeah, I don't know what this last person is doing, but I bet they're waiting for their teammate to die.
Oh my goodness. Talk about good timing on GPU's part.
Yeah, I think GPU wanted to look at these gens just to see if they were going to try and get points in any other way. But really good predictions on their part. The pallet's already been thrown here, so they have to try and make it to the pallet or make it to the window at Shack, in which they do. And they're doing some nice moonwalks. Wow, that was very well done. There was some great moonwalks from the killer, but we're seeing some excellent execution coming in from the Cheryl.
Now, this is entirely where the game is now almost entirely confirmed, but there's a chance that the Cheryl here does in fact get hatched. GPU's gonna try and get a curve around the car. Hits the tarp, unlucky. Unfortunately, the tarp has a very large hitbox.
Those hitboxes are just a little too big. Make them smaller, Dead by Daylight. All right, so he's gonna go ahead and try again.
Orange is going for the Syndicate car, and unfortunately does not get the hit there. Cheryl's making it to another pallet.
So going in for the nice stun coming in by the Cheryl. Okay, they decide to just rake the pallet and then try and continue chase here.
I think that is because GPU is confident that he can get the down before she reaches another tile. Unfortunately, she does actually reach another tile. She makes it all the way across the map.
Yeah, that was quite unfortunate. And they broke the pallet.
Not a life plate. And gets behaviored by the pallets. Looks straight on and hits and bumps instead of breaking it. And that looks like a bamboozle.
That was a bamboozle. And so we're going to continue the chase over here at Bus. And so with Bus happening, I feel like this is more of a 1v1 at this point. Oh, so close on the curb, but just wasn't able to get it this time.
They went to shot for the 1v1, and that's a window from the Bus. GPU zoning the Cheryl into the side of the map to keep her by the Bus, because we know that the hatch is probably where we first saw the Cheryl, because that's the one place we haven't checked. Nobody has seen it.
Yeah, that's what I suspect. They've gone this far already. I bet it was where Cheryl was working on the generator. So Cheryl has to continue to extend the chase as much as they can in order to buy time to get over there.
It looks like she's gonna make it, but will she get the hatch?
And the even bigger question is the hatch there? Oh no.
That can only mean it's... It's on the right next to where they were.
Oh my god!
We heard it.
Oh, that is so unfortunate. They were delaying it so hard. Oh no.
I hope you have your popcorn, folks, because we're not lying. This is a good game. Very interesting.
Alright, so electing to go for the M1. Okay, and we're getting a Voltage Shack. Now they're gonna 1v1 at the Shack. Let's go. Alright, so they decided to go ahead and continue with the chase. They're headed over to this tower that's already had a pallet broken, and so they're gonna go back to the car where they know they have a pallet for safety. And they're gonna try and get the curve. It did not get it.
Outwards, dodging the chainsaw.
This Cheryl has done an amazing job looping this hillbilly.
But unfortunately is out of options, runs to the Z-wall, gets downed in the dead corner.
That was a very respectable looping skills by this Cheryl, so well done in that respect. And so we are going to go ahead and put the Cheryl up, and this will be the 4K coming in.
3 gens remaining. That's 30 points for Sigma Grinders and 4 points for Hookers. Sigma Grinders putting themselves up in a pretty comfortable position.
Yeah, this was well done, and we're seeing some good control of the chainsaw sprint by GPU. GG's, well played.
So, if you are Hookers, there's a 26-point difference. I think I would probably bring Spirit, knowing that this is probably a better map to choose your S tier on than on, say, Blood Lodge, which is already a really difficult map for Killer.
I agree. I think that if you're the Hookers at this point, this second game, you really need to come out with a very strong Killer. You could bring Spirit, or you could bring out a high A tier Killer. It's either that, or you go with whatever you were planning on going with before, because that's what you practiced with.
Yeah, I think there could really be anything at this point because we don't know what is going on in their voice chat.
We don't. It's only speculation at this point. So the only thing I can think of is I agree. Spirit could be very good, or you go with what you already had planned, and then you just do that execution.
Yeah. Now, if you're B Orange, now I don't know a lot about what killers B Orange plays, but I have seen him play a handful of killers in other leagues, in other tournaments, and I believe this is his first time playing killer in Entities Arena. Now, he's going to want to probably show, you know, he's going to want to show his best killer off here. You know, bring them back from the point deficit. It could be anything. I'm not sure what the pick is if I'm B Orange.
Yeah, I'm unsure as to what that could be as well, but I'm gonna venture on a guess that we could see Spirit, as you pointed out. Part of me also thinks that we could see that Executioner. Sure, it's more ideal for it to be played on other maps. But if Orange is very comfortable with that killer, who knows, right? You know, they may bring it out and go, we want to stay in the running as long as we can, so we're going to bring out the stuff that's really strong, right? So
Yeah, maybe there's also a chance maybe B Orange is gonna say, I'm gonna bring out Hillbilly because I think I can do the same. If he is confident, I don't know if he plays Hillbilly. You know, usually you have a dedicated Hillbilly player because of the skill required to play him.
Now I can't see who's in the lobby, but I would hope that if you know GPU happened to be a survivor on the team, and you know they brought out the Billy, maybe they do a 1v1 at Shack. You know, I'm just saying. You know, they had a 1v1 a little bit on their end. Maybe they return the favor by switching the tide. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing out things here, so
I have seen people decide to do 1v1s at Shack on Ricker's Yard in the middle of a tournament before. So it wouldn't be uncalled for. One of the tournaments that happened, I think, a month or two ago, they did decide to do one versus Blight because it was endgame collapse and one person was slugged. And they said, we might as well go for it and just run the timer.
I think I remember seeing that match, and that was the first time I ever saw somebody doing a 1v1 in the middle of a league or tournament match. I was laughing because I was like, "Is this reality? What is going on?"
Yeah, I think if they do decide to do that, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I think from everybody's perspective. Even if it's not the most practical, I think B Orange is going to try and put up a fight here, nonetheless.
Obviously, as one should. Okay. What about Plague?
I think
Do we
Plague's
think
probably a
Plague
pretty
could
good
be?
pick on this map.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think Plague could have a pretty decent showing on this match.
Knowing that this map is fairly small, you can have some really good fountain spawns as Plague if you do in fact get your 2 corrupt purge pools in your 3-gen. That could be really good.
Now we did see this similar scenario pop up with the match before, in which if you guys haven't seen it, make sure that you go check it out some other time, or you know, we will be posting all of these streams on our YouTube page, So if you hit !YouTube, you're going to find some of the matches, and we're still uploading these matches as we speak. But make sure to check it out because that was a good game.
Absolutely. I think we are just about ready to load into our second game here, and everything's been going so smoothly tonight. I'm so incredibly happy. It makes our lives easy. It makes everybody's lives just go, just a little bit more smooth. Lets the game be the focus and, lets the players relax a little bit more, stay a little bit more mentally prepared for the game. And we're already in. And what do we see? But we see B-Orange playing the Oni. Interesting
Yes.
pick.
Yeah, I think this is one of the killers that I've seen Orange play a lot. I think this is one of their mains. So it doesn't surprise me that they would bring this. We are seeing a corrupt intervention already as we see 3 gens blocked up, and we are seeing scratch marks at the shack already.
I do believe that is Brian who is taking chase.
I can't. Okay, so it's Dwight.
Dwight.
Yeah, I can't quite see the names from my perspective. So we do have the Dwight going up, doing a chase, already pre-throwing pallets. So they've already gone up against Anoni before, getting the stun and the flashlight blind. And
they know that they just have to delay the first hit, and that can possibly win them the game just on that alone. And this gen looks like it's 75% of the way progressed. Done.
And we're going to get a first hit. Thebes. That first hit is huge, especially with Corrupt already still being active. This could put them in a pretty decent start. And so all they have to do is continue to get that pressure and to chase down this Nancy, right? That's the Nancy?
That is Nancy. And
yeah.
She's going to jump into the locker. Interesting decision. Choosing to not drop any more blood. But
yeah,
there's the first gen.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, but he does get his power anyway, and we do have a gen already going off.
There's a second pin. That's a second gen being complete.
A second gen is complete, and so he's just kind of holding his power, kind of seeing what's going on, and we don't see any other corrupted gens, and so he's just kind of holding it, kind of proxy camping, but also venturing out now. It looks like doesn't want to go too far from that hook. Wants them to get to second stage.
Popping the power here because we do see a survivor coming for the unhook.
He did, and so who do they elect to go for?
They went for the person going for the unhook, and I think that this is Nia, if I saw correctly.
Oh!
Trying to go for the flick there. Unfortunately misses by just a little bit, and a gen pops in the distance. Oh, I think that survivor was FOV teching. Just hiding in the corner.
I think so. Yeah, I think so too, because those scratch marks seem to stop and didn't go to the other side of the tile. But they are going to go ahead and eliminate a pallet. Okay, that's pretty good. And it's the Nia that is in chase.
That power has been going for quite a long time.
It has been. There's been some really good loops that have been coming in. These are survivors that really know how to play against Anoni, which is going to make it a much more difficult match for Orange because now his power is completely out.
However, they didn't heal Gibbs, so she is still leaving blood orbs on the ground now that he is out of his power. There's only one gen left. They popped one of them.
So this is not looking the best for this Oni. The 5th gen did get done, but for those who are rooting for the hookers, there was a haste status effect. That only means no one escapes death. Is in fact a perk that exists in this game.
Now we do see Gibbs and the Claudette over here. So
So electing to take the chase there. Oh, actually, they decided to drop the chase. I think they're going to try and go and.
For Nancy. No.
I think that they were going to try and secure the hook. Well, where are they?
This looks like it's going to be a 3K, unless it looks like Nancy's gonna trade with the Claudette here, and it's a 3 out with only 3 hooks.
I don't think it was the Claudette, because the Claudette is still up, and the person that went for the pickup was injured.
Yes, because I think that the Nancy went for the pickup on the Nia. Sorry.
Yeah, on the Nia, which
she's when we think of her second hook state.
Yeah, I think when you think about it, it makes the most sense for Nancy to do it. The reason why is because Nia, if they escape, is 4 points for her escape.
Whereas she was on her second hook.
Exactly.
I think that that's a good reasoning. And we see the 3 survivors escaping.
So three of them escaped, but one did fall victim to the Oni. And so 2 of the perks that we did not see throughout this matchup, we didn't see Pop Goes the Weasel, and you may have seen the Brutal Strength if you paid attention to how fast those pallets were being kicked.
Yes, and I think that for Sigma Grinders, they are in a pretty, they're sitting pretty well at the 48 point mark, and Hooker's sitting with 10 points. This is a 38 point difference. Still not a confirmed win. However, this is going to be rough going into the second half of the games at Blood Lodge.
Yeah, so this is going to be difficult, right? Because you do have a sizable margin point deficit that you really need to be wary of. So if I'm the Hookers, you got to bring it. You got to bring it this third game, because if you don't, this will count as another loss this season, which I think if a team gets 2 losses, it's not going to be the biggest deal as far as playoffs are concerned. But we don't necessarily want to be taking 2 losses this early in the season.
Yeah. And I think Hookers knows that, and they're prepared to play whatever they can to secure a win in this next game. So this way they can make up some of the points that they are behind by, and then try and go for the win in Game 4. Knowing that they can get 30 points in this next game as Killer, and then 26 as Survivor, that's a total of 56 points still on the line for them.
That 56 could make or break it, if we're going to be honest, because with that 56, that would put them to 66 points overall, in which we have seen other teams win at like 69 points, which is nice. Sorry, had to do the joke once. But 68, 69 points, those are respectable points that you can get in order to secure a win. So they're not out of it, but they need to capitalize every point that they can.
Now, if 66 is the points that they can get maximum, that means if Sigma Grinders gets more than 66 points, they are going to confirm the win.
Yes, so that would be what, 18 points, and even then, if Sigma Grinders gets 18 points, they're denying Hookers of some of those points, right? Because hooking, the way that the Survivor rules are laid out and the way that the Killer rules for points are drastically different. So to quickly explain it, the hookers are playing killer right now. The maximum that they can get is a total of 30 points. And how the points are broken up, your first hook is second point. Your second hook or progression to stage 2 is worth 2 points. And your final hook or progression to death is worth 3 points, for a total of 7 points per survivor that you kill. And in this league, we do have a point bonus if you do get a 4K. If you get a 4K, you get an additional 2 points. Survivors, it works a little bit differently. Survivors, you get 2 points per gen for a total of 10 points for the generators. Most of those points that you're going to be getting are coming from escaping. So if you've never been hooked and you escape, you get 3 points. If you have been hooked only once and you escape the trial, you get 2 points. And if you've been hooked once and you escape, you get 1 point. But with that being said, if you have a 4-man out, you do get a 4-point bonus for a total of 26 points. So by getting hooked on the survivors, you're also denying points that the other team could be getting.
Yeah, which I think is going to be probably one of the biggest things that they can get going for them. Knowing that this is, this is the game that decides everything.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's going to be incredibly important for hookers to get the 4K, because that's really that's all they need, and to try and deny as many gen points from Sigma grinders as they can. Now, if they get all 5, that's okay. That's only 10 points. It's only 10 points, which would put Sigma grinders up to 58. But you need the 4K, because that's where the points and the point shifts are really coming from.
Yeah, or either a 4K, or you need to get a 3 kill before the last gen is completed, I believe. Because that would be 13 points for Sigma grinders. Actually, no. You just need to get, I think, 2 kills. Correct? Because even if it's 16 points, that's 62.
Well, hookers is killing this next game, if I recall.
Yes, but if Sigma grinders completes all gens and they get 2 fresh outs, that's 64.
They get 2.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that would be 64. And on the flip side, the maximum that hookers would be able to get would be 14 for 2K.
Okay. I missed the math. I'm not as great at math with 2 different kinds of numbers in my head at the same time. But I see what you're saying now.
No, you're good. You're good.
The amount of points that hookers can get becoming more limited.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it's going to become incredibly important for hookers to get a 4K in this. I didn't see who's playing as the killer, but we are going into our 3rd match.
I believe the killer is Cheese, who we saw playing Cheryl last game in the Billy game.
I thought the Cheryl was Orange.
Orange was playing the Ace.
Orange was playing the Ace. Okay, so this was the survivor that had the 1v1 with the Billy.
GPU's Billy.
So good, so good. All right, so this is going to be interesting.
All right.
Oh, let's go.
We load in, and what do we see? But we see the Demogorgon. Interesting choice. And we saw some scratch marks on the right there for a split second. I don't know if our killer saw them.
I don't know either, but this was... I gotta be honest, I thought that we loaded into the wrong map just because all I saw was Shack, and I was like, oh, these are both maps from the same realm. So brain's working a little funky. But we are going to go ahead and say confidently we do see a corrupt intervention And
there's one of the add-ons getting revealed. That looks
yep,
like Lepro's Lycan.
Yep, a Lycan has been revealed. So, you know, we talked about the fact that Lycan is incredibly strong with Demogorgon, and a lot of demo killers are electing to bring out Lycan just because of how useful it is. This does not surprise me.
And this looks like the Claudette had used Spring Burst at the start of the chase, which I think was incredibly well used to avoid the first hit. And then it looks like we had the Nancy come in here for the body block. And it looks like it's down right before being able to drop the pallet. Not going for the pickup because there are some scratch marks nearby. And we just saw the Nancy.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I was worried about another survivor possibly being here, but it looks like the Nancy decided just to hightail it because they didn't want to create an uncomfortable situation.
And we saw the first gen get finished, and another perk has been revealed in Deadlock, blocking one of the gens on the right by the bus. And we can see there's two survivors over there.
Yeah, and you can tell because the corrupt intervention went away, but one of the gens was still taken by the entity, which is how they would know. And so they're continuing the pursuit over on that mid-right side, but just haven't found anybody. But they have come across somebody who was trying to mess with that gen that was deadlocked. And they decided to leave it, and they're headed to the main building area.
Yeah, and it looks like the killer is going to try and tunnel the Claudette here. Even though she just got fully healed, she does have the med kit, so there's a possibility she wasn't healed by somebody else.
It is possible that Claudette had done it all by themselves. However, I feel like if you wanted to commit to a tunnel, you needed to commit to it at the moment that they got unhooked. So I feel like the tunnel was just a little bit too late, in my opinion.
And it does look like another gen is getting completed.
Now, going ahead and pre-throwing these pallets, which is very good. Very good from the survivor's point of view. Oh, I didn't know that was already thrown. Yep, didn't know that either. All right. That was a free pallet there. Thank you for your donation to Demo Puppy's long nails. We appreciate it.
And she makes another pallet. Here's the proof that this map is very rough for killer because of all of the pallets that are just so close together. All of these fillers being able to be joined together.
Yeah, she's unfortunately wasn't able to do the shred attack to destroy the pallet the first time. It looks like they let off on it. I felt like they could have connected it because that could have shortened this interaction by about 3 seconds.
And this is gonna... Oh, is it gonna be a down? I think that might have been a down if you committed to the shred.
I don't know. It looked like from my perspective the Nia just got in. Just got in with enough time.
I know that the hitbox from the shred sometimes is a little bit wonky, so it might have been, it might not have been. It also might have looked a little bit different from the killer's perspective because we are spectating, and there's a little bit of latency. Yeah,
there's a little bit of latency, but I think they're gonna hit the tires. Unfortunately, we're not able to connect with the Claudette, but they are gonna get the down right here.
Holding the chase really tight there to the tires, I think was a really smart idea. But oh, it looks like the Nancy might have tried to go in there for the flashbang save.
Yeah, I think they tried to go for it and just didn't quite have the timing right. I don't think they used the firecracker. But I think they recognized that they were too far away.
Yeah, I think that it gives you a notification if you're playing killer and you try and use the firecracker. So
yeah, I think so. Now these survivors are punishing this killer for doing the tunnel. because they're cranking out these gens. They're getting them done as fast as they can.
Now,
And I think they're doing the smart decision by trying to camp out the death. But what do you think?
I think that the gens actually are moving by fairly slow in comparison, because we've been in chase with one survivor who's been having rotating body bags. And you know what I think that is?
What?
I think it's because they're trying to cleanse the totems as well to secure a 4-out this game.
You know, that would make sense. Oh no. Okay, so they have to commit to a decisive.
It's not decisive strike where Q-Top missed it. Oh no.
Ooh.
That is rough because there was the pallet in Shack.
Now you know what we haven't seen that we're gonna see now. Now that I bring it up, them using the Lycan ability to be able to get information as to where everyone is at. I think that's very good.
I think it's a really good decision to be using here, but unfortunately there's no 3-gen anymore. We did see a survivor on the left. Are we going to commit to it?
I don't think they are going to commit to it. The only reason why I say that is because that gen at main is so close to being done that you know someone's going to go over there and try and finish it.
There's the M1. We see a survivor by the door just sitting there. That looks like Nancy in the distance. Oh, they did not cleanse all of the totems, but we do see 2 more perks getting revealed with No Way Out immediately proccing, as well as NOED, which the survivors now also know about.
All right. You know what? No Way Out did get procced, and they did only have 1 stack on it, so it could be worse. Yeah, it just now ran out. Now the survivors are going to want to do things. They're either going to let this person stay on the hook and let them die so that they can open the exit gates and escape, or they're finding the NOED to try and get the 3 out.
I think they might be going for NOED because it is right next to the door. It probably is safe to say that they're Oh! It looks like our survivors are standing still.
I think they're trying to find it. They just haven't found it yet. Yeah, I think that's what it was. They hadn't found it yet, and they were looking in all of the usual spots. Just never came across survivors.
It. This is the Nia. While Nia's in chase, this leaves time open for Zarina to go and get the unhook and possibly cleanse NOED. Oh, no! Nia, this Zarina's going for the unhook. Is this going to be a 4K? This can still be a 4K here.
Oh my god, the Lycan!
That's the 4K! As long as one of the 2 survivors that just got down do not have Deliverance or Unbreakable.
This was a good ending. You know, you committed heavily to the tunnel on the.
I think that our Demogorgon should be sitting next to the Zarina. Oh, she does not have Deliverance.
No, which would mean that either the Claudette, I think it was. The Claudette was the one that had Deliverance, or this Nia has it.
It was
the Claudette.
Really good luck from the killer.
And considering how the beginning of this match went out versus the result that we're seeing right here, this is fantastic. You put yourself in a position to get the win, but you have to execute a perfect game for your Survivor game.
Do you remember who the Claudette was?
Oh,
I believe it was Q-Top, and Q-Top actually did have Decisive Strike, which was unfortunate for the survivors.
Oh, so they must have just missed it.
Yeah, because she ran past the pallet in Shack and didn't drop it, and then got in the locker.
Well, I believe it was already thrown. I believe Shaq was already thrown.
Oh, it might have been.
I thought it was already thrown, which is why they didn't throw it.
Oh.
I think. Don't quote me on it, because there was a lot of pallets that was thrown in the initial chases with the Claudette.
In a very short period of time.
Yeah, so it was a lot for me to try and wrap my brain around.
Now, I have good news for hookers. They're at 40 points. They are still in this. They can still get 66 points here.
Yeah.
They only need to get 8 points, however. Sigma Grinders only need to get 8 points in order to secure the victory.
Actually, when you think about it, you just need to camp one person for 7 points.
And then get a no-ed down with someone else.
Actually, don't even need that. Getting a 1K gives you 7 points, putting you at 65. That takes away 7 points that hookers could get, because at max 3 from the survivor escaping with no hooks, and the 4 out bonus you no longer get. So you just need a 1K and you secure the win.
Oh, wow. So I think that means that... What killer would you bring in this situation?
Bubba.
I think that's probably the right move.
I mean, when you think about it, this is a team that desperately needs to get a 4 out. Bubba is hands down the best killer, and probably the most notorious to camp somebody to death on first hook. Whether you're in comp or in pubs, it doesn't matter. It's a Bubba.
That is rough, because if they do get 1 down, then that secures the win, as long as they don't mistime the charge of the chainsaw.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I think that it's going to be incredibly difficult.
I am getting confirmation that Shaq was thrown when the Claudette died from chat.
Yep. That's what I thought.
I couldn't remember if it was thrown or not, because there were so many pallets thrown, and it's hard to tell. But we're just about ready to get into the last game here. Hopefully we can remember the pallets this time.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of pallets. We as spectators aren't running Zanshin tactics.
We don't have ESP. We don't have. We don't have that, nor do we need that. We're just kind of vibing, watching these matches play out, and we're seeing some great gameplay from both teams. We are just here along for the ride, and
we are.
Seeing an 18-point difference. If I'm hookers right now, I am so happy, knowing how well Cheese did in the demo game. Not only did you make back some of the points, you made back all 30 of the points.
Mm-hmm. Now, which was huge, right? And I think hookers, doing the math, they know that they knew what the max that they needed, and they know how many points Sigma Grinder needs in order to secure the win. They are fully aware. They have all the time in the world. This game is the deciding factor. And so I expect them to have a really strong showing.
This could be a really, really interesting, the same thing that happened last week when we saw a Pinhead, come back from, I think, a 13-point deficit and take the win.
Mm-hmm.
It's not impossible. Anything can happen in this last game.
This is why, like, you play out your 4 games. Even though there's an 18-point deficit, you gotta play out these games, and you gotta have a strong showing.
You have not. No team has lost until the very end.
Well,
okay,
you know.
it's a little bit.
I mean, I agree with the. I agree. I know what you're saying, and so I get the motive behind it. Sometimes the game 4 doesn't really matter, but here tonight, this game 4 matters.
Yeah, and I think this game 4 is going to be the game of a lifetime, and we see 3 of our survivors are already ready. And I am certain that the map is probably already picked, which means we are only waiting on the last confirmation, and then we can get into this. I'm on the edge of my seat. We've seen amazing killer games tonight.
Mm-hmm. We've seen some stellar gameplay today, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the comms are going to be like for the survivors, right? Hookers knowing that they need to get the 4 out, in which I'm trying to see, looking at like the potential, and they have to have some really good loops. They have to, hopefully, the killer doesn't bring out somebody that can just do instant downs or have chases be incredibly short. Because at most, you can give up 7 points. 7 points. And even then, that makes it difficult because, like, even though they're giving up 7 points, that also means that their maximum score that they can get decreases as well. So I'm inclined to say that if you get more than like 3 hooks, you don't come out as a victor. Not this hard in this league because you have so many variables. It's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get a hook here, so that's 2 points. But that means if this person escapes, they no longer get 3 points, but they get 2.
Well, knowing that both teams have extra people on their roster who are not currently playing, do you think that they're probably in the voice chat doing the math as we speak? They're saying, hey, okay, look, we need to give them X amount of hooks, where Y is the temperature on Sunday,
yes,
and Z is the direction the train is going.
And so you're a Pisces, so obviously that means that we that this will be a good result. So we have to take our Libras out because, sorry, but you're just going to cost us the game. So you got to switch them out because your zodiac signs. Yeah. All of the statisticians are on hand.
And guess what? This doesn't look like Bubba to me.
It doesn't. You know what?
That's one too many tentacles to be Bubba.
You know what? You're not wrong. I will submit to that. We are seeing the nemesis from Q-Top in the final game of this match.
This David was crouching behind the car, making it look like he was driving it, and instead he sprint bursts away. That sounded like a gen being worked on the right there. I don't think he heard it.
The survivors are aware that corrupt intervention does exist, and it is blocking up a 3-gen. So they are aware, and Q-Top is trying to go for those cheeky tentacle strikes over some of the trash cans and obstacles. They're just not quite connecting. Was able to connect there and is going to try and continue the chase. In which he already got into tier 2 with 2 hits, in which, if you are aware, that is Marvin's blood. That one's pretty common for us to see on a nemesis. And the Claudette was trying to come in and take the heat, but and we see the Claudette continuing to do that.
Earlier in the game, I called out that it sounded like there was a gen being worked on the right. It was actually just corrupt intervention that I misheard. And
another gen, another perk did get revealed. We are seeing Deadlock, as there is a gen that has a lot of progress on it, but is blocked by the entity.
There's a down with the tentacle strike. Onto the David.
So the Nemesis is going to go ahead and pick up. And with that, now the corrupt intervention is now gone.
And so is the Deadlock.
Yeah, so they're going to come over and hit the gen.
That's no pop goes the Weasel.
No pop, okay. So it looks like they're just going to patrol the gen for a little bit and try and camp out the David. You see someone trying to come over and stop the regression of that gen, but they're being kicked off because someone has strong tentacle powers.
Never thought I would hear that about Nemesis, about the 8-foot tall man himself.
I'm so sorry. That sounds so wrong. I do apologize about that. But we are seeing the camping being very efficient so far. No other gens have popped. No one has effectively stopped the regression from that gen.
This is second state being pushed onto the David.
Yep, that's not good. So what does that mean for those statisticians right now? Okay, another gen did pop.
And here's another gen being worked on by the Ace. Just instantly drops the pallet and runs away.
Yeah, and the gen
with the tentacle.
The gen that did get deadlocked was the one that was near the hook by the David. So it's going to stop the regression, which is going to be good for the team. And we do see an unhook happening right now.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because that does in fact mean that there is not another gen that is more progressed, which is a unfortunate sign for our survivors. But David's gonna get tunneled here.
He is gonna get tunneled, and we are seeing another gen pop.
Decisive.
Can you imagine the one person that you decide to tunnel out is the one that has decisive?
That would be incredibly unlucky.
And so they are going to continue in the pursuit of David. Hopefully David can lock things down for a while, but I do not think that is going to be the case.
I think the down. And David gets down there. There's a survivor on his left. Are they working the gen?
They may be working on the gen.
Oh?
No. They are not working on that gen.
They finished the other gen that was aggressive. Only one gen left.
Yeah, and the gen that is deadlocked is the one that the Nemesis was right next to.
Unfortunately, the Ace gets caught there between some items and gets hit by the tentacle.
So we're having a nice little loop here over at the tractor, in which there's some good mind games happening between the Ace and the Nemesis. And oh no, if I'm the Ace, I don't want to be here.
Especially when that gen is almost finished.
Yeah.
That ground hustling. There's
adrenaline!
Adrenaline, which unfortunately gets him pushed back down. I don't think he was expecting it.
I don't think so either, because he didn't immediately just run.
And that's Noah getting revealed for the survivors, as well as for us, almost immediately at the same time. And as well, they also tapped the exit gates because that was no way out. And it's already over.
It's already over because there was only one. There was only one, and we do see the Noed being cleansed. So I think the team's going to try and get the 3 out because they think that maybe a 3 out will be good enough for them.
tries to go for a second tentacle onto the Claudette, but this zombie is playing games as well.
You know, it's so good to finally see, you know, these zombies putting in work.
Especially after last week.
Right.
And takes a tentacle to the back of the head. Unfortunately, this is going to be the 5th hook for the killer.
Yeah, actually, this will be the 5th hook, I believe. Because they had a hook on Ace. So they're going to go ahead and try and camp this out, and you can see them making sure that the structure of the main building is still intact, and giving a fist bump to the Claudette on the hook, showing off their tentacles.
They're bringing it out, and they're just punching things, which I can understand. You need to try and show that you came here and you were proud of your performance as Nemesis with your tentacle.
This was a killer that never misses arm day. They never miss arm day.
So, that has been the 4th game, with a final score 74 Sigma Grinders to 55 Hookers.
Which honestly, not bad. That is not a bad ending. So Hookers should come away with this knowing that they put up one heck of a fight at the end. So job well done. But this week, Sigma Grinders is going to be coming away with the victory against the Hookers.
Yes. So, at first, we want to say congratulations to Sigma Grinders, but we also want to say very well played from Hookers. You guys came back there in the 3rd game. That was an incredibly well played performance. All of your other games as well, very well played. I want to remind everybody, at the end of this, you know, we want to show good sportsmanship to everybody. Both teams, you know, they play out every single game. It's not over till it's over. And we have Q-Top in here for the interview. How are you doing today, Q-Top?
I am doing well. How are you?
We're doing pretty well ourselves. Now, can you tell us a little something about the voice comms from the Oni game? Because, you know, I saw the Nia getting in chase for probably, like, the entire power and some more after that. How was that going?
I mean, it was just kind of standard Oni gameplay. Like, Brian had a really good chase to start, I'm pretty sure, and then he rotated off to Jeebs and then gave up a hit. We tried to get her to have her go down before he was able to get his power, but he ended up getting it. And I guess David just juiced up GPU Crankstar, and we just had him stay on the opposite side while we did 2 other gens, the last 2 gens that we needed. And then at the very end, we decided to have Jeebs pick up David and then go down because Jeebs was already hooked.
Incredibly well played.
I was about to ask that. It seemed very much like you knew that someone was already on the hook, so you wanted them to go for the pickup because the other person is going to be worth more points when they escaped.
Yeah, we were going to try to pull off a sneaky play with David's Deliverance because he had it up at the time, but we ended up just saying, we'll just let him take the 3 stage and we'll just leave. Because that's already alone a really good result.
Yeah, a 3 stage against Oni it's a very good result. Oh, sorry. I have to blow my nose because I'm also just getting out of being sick. I do apologize.
Okay.
Now, with the 2nd game, we saw you guys put together a really good performance for the first part of the match, and then you unfortunately got tunneled out there. Was that decisive strike that you had?
Yeah, I kind of missed DS, but it's...
Oh, no!
Yeah, it was going all according to plan up until I missed DS, but I just changed my res and it made the skill check smaller and it messed me up. And yeah.
Oh, we've all been there with like missing the DS and we're like, don't worry, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna hit the DS. Yeah. I didn't hit DS. I'm dead.
Yeah. safe to say I got laughed at, but I fully blame Jeebs. It's her fault. For no reason other than it's Jeebs. It's just her fault.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I guess that's just kind of how it is on the team, right? Anything goes wrong, it's Jeep's fault.
Yep, literally. That's exactly how it goes. It's Jeeb's fault.
We love to hear the friendly banter between teammates. Now, the Nemesis game. Why Nemesis?
We were aware of what we needed to do to win the game, and I just kind of picked the killer that I figured could get the 1K4 stage or whatever it was we needed. So yeah, I just decided I had no clue what I was gonna play going into this, and I was just gonna wing it off of how the game was going, depending on if I needed a stronger killer or a weaker killer, depending on what the win condition was, and that was the win condition, and I just decided to play Nemesis. There was not really too much thought process that went into it. I just figured I could get it down, camp it out, and then rely on No Way Out, No Ed to get a little bit extra.
Which was actually very smart, because we were speculating on our end that it was going to be a Bubba, because Bubba is very notorious for camping out people, and with the one-shot ability being very strong to secure a camp to death. So it was very interesting for you to pull out the Nemesis in that regard.
Yeah, somebody suggested me in the call to play Bubba, but I absolutely hate playing Bubba. I'll just bump into everything and trog out, and I didn't want that to be the reason we lost. So I was like, I'll just go tentacle people.
Gotcha. You know what? That makes sense. If you're not that comfortable with the killer, go with someone that you're a little bit more comfortable with. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, we gotta go recruit my boy Squid Savage, best Bubba NA. Trust.
bet. Again, I'm way too old to be saying some of these things. It's just...
No, it's fine. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
All right. But you know, you guys had a very, very stellar showing this week, and so that puts you guys at 2-0. How do you guys feel about that so far?
Feeling good. Just hanging out, playing some competitive with some friends, and juicing up. You know, we're all cranking up.
Hell yeah, dude! Hell yeah! And so with that, Arrow, do you have any other questions?
I'm just curious if you have any last words for the hookers, for the people who are watching, and for your future opponents that people you're going to be playing against in the coming weeks. Do you have anything to say?
GG's to hookers. I've played against them, I think, in another league when I played Blight, and that's all I played, I'm pretty sure. But GG's to them. They're a solid team. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future. Thanks for all the homies coming out to watch. If Nightlight's still in chat, I thought about playing Clown for you, but I didn't want you to judge me too hard, so I couldn't do it. I wasn't risking it, man. I couldn't take the judgment. But yeah, thanks for coming out and hanging out, watching us, and looking forward to the rest of the games during the season.
Thank you very much for being here, and we hope that you have a wonderful night.
Oh, and Remedy, I'm coming for you. Just wait, you're gonna taste. All right, bye.
Oh! Shots being thrown to Remedy. Shots are being thrown.
Lots and lots of fighting words going around tonight between the teams. All in good fun, though.
Yeah,
should always be in good fun.
Of course. All right, well, you guys have a great night. Thank you for the interview, and thanks for letting us play.
Of course. I hope you guys have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Well,
hey guys, remember to encounter for delay when a new stream.
well,
thank you, Cookie.
Say thank you very much, and congratulations to Sigma Grinders. 74 points to Hookers 55 points. Well played, everybody. And you know, do you have any closing words?
I do not, other than it has been a pleasure to be here tonight with all of you. We are going to see you guys for the next game, so make sure that you hop on in, because we have some exciting matches this week. So make sure to tune in, and if you're not part of the Discord, to get those notifications, hit !Discord so that you can be a part of the journey. With that, we need to go ahead and raid somebody.
I'm gonna be raiding Fairy Track Disco, and so everything should be
Oh, you're gonna rate Disco?
yeah. It's okay.
I was gonna rate Tofu, but it's fine.
All right. And just give this 2 seconds. Oh my god. It keeps canceling. Okay. An error has occurred. Oh, Tofu's live. It doesn't let me raid.
I can host it if you want. I can host. Do you want?
It's
let me
still-
see, is he
it's
still
still
on? Did you say it's not letting you raid?
Yeah, no, it's not letting me raid.
Who did
No,
you want to host?
We,
No?
we just raided.
We did. Okay.
Oh, we did. Oh, I bet.